So let's pray individually and start the program proper in our individual way. May we have a successful program today. So thank you so much for coming today. I will start by greeting the high table, Madam President Annette Camara, Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, representative from the Freedom House, the main sponsors of this event, Mr. Demba Kande, Amijuf Cole, who has been supporting us from the get-go, the U.S. Ambassador, represented, of course, by Susan, the President of the Gambia Press Union, Mr. M.S. Ba, Mohamed Ba, so Mohamed S. Ba. So, yeah, and the Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, Honorable Bakari Y. Baji. We are really honored to have you here today supporting young people, and we are really appreciative of this gesture. So we were also looking forward to having the Minister for Gender, but due to unforeseen circumstances, she couldn't be here with us today. So we will move, because we have started a bit late, so we will first call on our first speaker, but first I would like to say this is the official brand launch and the adoption of the WoJAG constitution of the association. As we know, an association cannot move around with an executive without a constitution that will be guiding the way we do our work for transparency purpose, but also about visibility. That is why we are launching a brand that will include a lot of stuff that I wouldn't want to say, because I know my president is really ready with a whole speech. So without further ado, I would like to invite Ms. Annette Camara, the president of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, to give her welcoming remarks.
Good morning. The Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, the representative of the American Embassy, Ms. Sharon, the President of the Gambia Press Union, Freedom House representative, Mr. Demba Kande, media houses present, ladies and gentlemen, and members of Women Journalists Association. I greet you all, Assalamu alaikum, and good morning. It is with honor and deep sense of gratitude that I welcome you to the most awaited WoJAG conference on the theme, Shattering the Glass Ceiling in the Media. This convergence is in fulfillment of a campaign promise we made on the 25th of February 2022 at our first ever Congress at YMCA. And it is aimed at discussing the challenges facing women in the media with a view to provide tangible solutions to take strategic actions to facilitate women's equal opportunity in the media. Today, in addition to this conference, we will also review and adapt the Constitution and reposition WoJAG to become a viable and highly functional organization that will engender the realization of our vision for a sustainable future for women in the media. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it could be recalled that at the recently held annual Journalism Conference Awards, it was revealed that 49 shortlisted candidates of all categories of awards, only 16 were women, which equates to just about 33%. And roughly mirrors the overall total numbers of submissions from women. We need some serious work on getting the gender balance right, at the very least to 50% of all applications. It is no secret that the media in the Gambia is male-dominated. Few women who are breaking the glass ceiling in the newsroom are going through under tremendous challenges, ranging from sexual harassment to gender discrimination in employment matters such as promotion and role allocation. In fact, a study commissioned by the Gambia Press Union reveals that 65% of the media workers experience sexual harassment at their workplaces, and more than 85% of such cases are perpetrated by men. The surgeon in The surging of a democratic government by the end of 2016 has widened the space for media freedom in the country, as more media houses have now entered in the public sphere and more people have access to voice opinions. However, this expansion of the media space has done little to change the status of women journalists or media workers. Just about 7% of the media houses are owned or managed by women. The number of female editors or newsroom heads is almost at the same percentage. Stereotype and significant underrepresentation of women in the media play a significant role in shaping harmful attitudes of discrimination and harassment towards women. Therefore, a greater need to strategically implement efforts to close the gender gap in the media. This is especially crucial given that the media sector has the potential to positively influence other sections and segments of society. Ladies and gentlemen, the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, as an umbrella body of the Gambia Press Union, will continue to work closely with the Gambia Press Union, advocating for the promotion of the rights and welfare of women in the media. Women Journalists Association will continue to strive to change the dynamics in the media for women and build the capacity of journalists through specialized training. To conclude, allow me to seize this opportunity to thank the veterans and first leadership for their efforts and their steadfastness in ensuring that the Women Journalists Association exists. More so, I wish to recognize the amazing work of our executive for their commitment and hard work towards the success of this event, as well as the general membership of Women Journalists Association. I also wish to extend my profound appreciation and warm congratulations to all the nominees of this year's award and awardees. Let's brace up for the 2023 Awards Women. This is also an opportunity to thank the doyens and the media icons with us today. Journalists in the country, especially those that are present here. Ms. Amijuf Cole. However, the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia wish to thank our partners who have one way or the other supported this remarkable event. And they include Freedom House, promoting rights and justice, funded by the USAID, for your support to WoJAG. Partners like you are vital to the continued success of our mission to protect women in the media. To Nati Production, who has been with us from the Congress to date in terms of branding and visibility materials on all our social media platforms. And of course to MS Design for the t-shirts and the image for the branding in the building. And of course, not forgetting State of Mike for providing us photography and videographics whenever we request. And to the biggest support we've had, the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication, Mr. Sangmendi and team, we appreciate your efforts, and of course to the Gambia Press Union that has supported us for our first two activities, which is the Breaking Gender, the first training we have, where we train 30 women journalists on reporting on children and women, and our just concluded training for the executive on project proposal writing to enable us take the association to the next level. And finally, the one person we will wholeheartedly and thank, our consultant, Demba Kande, who has no choice but to say yes to whatever I ask for. Demba, thank you for guiding us. I'm a bit emotional. QTV. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Annette Kamara, the president of the Women Journalists Association. So actually, I was trying to say, I wouldn't say much because he has it all written down. So we are very glad to have such a president, dynamic and really hardworking towards what we want to achieve as women journalists. And the fact remains that the higher you go, the fewer you find in the media. Women are actually in the grassroots level reporting, but if you go to GRTS, the former managing directors, DGs, are all men. So when we walked there yesterday, when we were having a radio program, we said, why were all the managing directors all men? Women acting all the time, can't they be managing directors as well? So that is very important. So it is important that we have these conversations to ensure women, their potentials are also recognized and seen in the media. So who would be able to say this more than Ami Diouf Cole, who has been in the media for the longest time? So let's have you share some thoughts with you, Ami Diouf Cole.
I'm very emotional, and let me start by greeting the president of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, Nanette Kamara, who happens to have the same surname as my mother. Demba Kande, I'm not even surprised that he's given you all his time and energy and support, because I've worked with him and I know how committed he is. So you'll have no better partner than Demba, and he's very committed and sincere in all he does. I've worked with him as a member of the panel of judges last year for the GPU Awards. I've worked with him at the level of the Constitutional Review Commission. He was a member of the Technical Committee on Communication and Media, and he worked so hard for us to come up with certain recommendations that we reflected in the draft constitution and also in the report that we submitted to the government. The president of GPU, MS Ba, is also somebody I've worked with over the years. I've been following the good work he's been doing at the level of the GPU. He's a dynamic person and very supportive, and I'm happy that the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, like Annette has pointed out, is going to continue to collaborate with the GPU. We are not enemies. Let me emphasize, men and women in the media are not enemies. We have to work together to bring about the desired change that we all want. The representative from the US Embassy, I've just met this morning, and we had some interesting exchanges on many issues, and she asked some interesting questions even when we're sitting out there regarding media work and things like that. So I think it's in line that you also work with her. And the minister, Mr. Baji, you know, the Bajis and the Fullers are all slaves of the Serriers. So, so I'll use this podium to say that, and I know nothing will happen. Mr. Baji, not so. This is interesting because we have this culture of cousins, where the Fullers, the Serriers, the Jolas, we can't harm each other. We can say anything and we can get away with it because we believe in living peacefully, you know. Mr. Baji, thank you so much. I'm happy that you have come. Because what these ladies are doing today is not just for women in the media. It's going to contribute to the development of this country. They are not just going to focus on moving into leadership positions in the media houses or leadership positions at the level of the GPU. They will do that, of course. They are not going to just focus on improving the management and the governance system in the media institutions of this country, but they are also going to be partners with the government, your ministry in particular. And it's unfortunate that the Minister of Gender and Women's Affairs is not here today due to circumstances beyond her control. But it's a key ministry. But I think the Ministry of Youth is also an important ministry. I don't still believe that when we say the youth are the future leaders of this country, they are the current leaders of this country. So that is how we should see it. And make sure that whatever they organize, and they invite the government, somebody must come, listen to them, engage them, and then try to see how to work together with them, on recommendations, on improving the media environment in this country, but also contributing to development. These people cover all aspects of development, from education to health to agriculture, community development, you name it. So this is a powerful force that is here, in addition to their colleagues who are members of the GPU, but who also work in other media houses. The media is a partner in development. I've always believed in that, and I think some of you believe in that, and we should not allow ourselves, whether we are men or women in the media, just to be called upon to cover opening and closing ceremonies. That is not just what our role is. We are partners, and we should be there at the inception of programs and projects, because we have something to offer. We have a lot to offer. A country is judged by what comes out of the media, whether we like it or not. Because with the proliferation of radio, television, newspapers, and now social media, any government worth its salt will engage the media fraternity and work with them. So, Mr. Baji, I really look forward to seeing you and members, your colleagues in cabinet, so that they know there's a powerful force existing, not only in the form of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, but also the whole media that is in existence in this country. We have to work together. This country belongs to all of us. Having said that, I am really happy, and I am so proud of you, Annette, and your team. And I will give you all the encouragement. I will keep in touch, and I will extend what I'm saying to other people that I know can even contribute better, who have worked in the media in this country, but are now working in other areas, and they need to know that all these things have happened. I'm happy you are starting with your constitution. A constitution is what determines the country. That's what the leadership will have to use. That's what the citizens will have to refer to, because it is the most important document of any country. So if organizations, institutions, or states function without having a proper constitution in place, then there are questions to be asked. So I'm happy that you are today going to look at the constitution, which is the starting point and which will help you move into other areas. Congratulations for this program, and I'm sure when we have the panel discussion, I will also be able to share some thoughts and some experiences, some of the hurdles we experienced working at radio. Banna, right, mentioned that the leadership at the GRTS, it was tough. It was tough. Some of us were labeled as activists. And sometimes it was even difficult to be in certain places. When your name is mentioned, you mention Ami Dufkol, you mention Ami Bojansi Soho, they will tell you those women are activists. What we were doing, we made sure that through our programs, Jotai Jigeni, Women's Magazine, Musolta, Yeutere Fulbe, Kamika Jola, Mehfa Hamunde, the agriculture programs, because we worked very closely with the ministry, the communications unit of the agriculture department, people from health education unit, community development. We realized that we cannot just be sitting there speaking English. It's good to speak English, but to reach out to the people in the rural areas, we had to go out to them, see their living conditions, live with them, walk with them, go out in the field, go to the hospitals, go to the schools for you to see reality. And I think this is one aspect this association should include in its plan of activities. Find the time We always say there's no time. I know what the workload is like in any media house, but find the time. We used weekends to go out and do some of the work we were doing with Gamco Trap as founder members. We volunteered for organizations like the Gambia Family Planning Association to help them improve their information, education, and communication strategies. So that's how you go into the system, and that's how you forge partnerships, and that's how you network, and that's how you can also have opportunities to improve yourselves, because the media houses will not provide all the training that you need to enhance your capacity. You have to go and look out for those opportunities sometimes. Let me stop there and wait for the panel. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you coming here today. Thank you so much, Madam Jove Cole. We want to announce at this point, QTV is film streaming this live. We thank them so much for doing this. So now we will just move straight, because we don't have much time, and invite the President of the Gambia Press Union, Mohamed Esba, to give us a statement.
Hello. The women power. The women power. All right. Thank you very much. I think, you know, it's so difficult to speak after, you know, a veteran, after the speech of a veteran, and an inspiration, obviously, not only to women, but obviously to the Gambian media. And she is also a champion of press freedom. Ma, thank you very much. That was so inspirational. I even learned a lot during your speech. Good morning, colleagues, comrades. Good morning, Honorable Minister, President of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, Sasan Serafetna. Mr. Dambakande, a prominent colleague, a brother who have the media at heart. Thank you for your support. And the representative of the U.S. Embassy, thank you for coming, and also thank you for supporting the media, because we know the interests of the U.S. Embassy in ensuring that the media thrive, and democracy cannot thrive without the media, and we've seen your support. We're hoping that, and we looking forward to more support, especially with the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia. And thank you for supporting the media. Honorable Minister, brother, thank you for coming. I know your schedule, you have a tight schedule, obviously, with the NACOV, with a lot of activities going on, and you left all those things and you came here to support our women journalists. We really appreciated the efforts. And Madam Chair and the Secretary General, Yatam Sasan Rafetna. I will not definitely, I will not say much. I think Ma has said everything that I wish to say. First, on behalf of the Gambia Press Union, I am indeed delighted, or we are delighted to associate ourselves with this very important occasion, which is the launching and rebranding of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia. The role of women in media is very key. It revolves around 4 axes of media, which is ensuring media freedom, enhancing media pluralism, and also strengthening media independence and safety, which is very key. We know that the threats women face in the media is far more than what the men counterpart faces. And it is important to address these issues. You've heard Annette mentioning some of the issues that women goes through in the media, which is sexual harassment, which is exploitation. It's important that we support this organization to ensure these menaces are addressed. And also, women should not just wait for the space to be created for them. You have to demand the space. You have to demand. It's not like a favor that anyone is doing for you. You are equally competent. You are equally responsible. You are equally, committed towards nation building. So it is high time you demand the space. But you also have to build your capacity. You also have to be ready to take up the challenge. Do not allow yourself to be discriminated. Do not see yourself as people, who cannot do it. I believe we can as women, and we have all the competence. We've seen the National Journalism Award, as stated by the President, that this year we've seen a lot of women winning the award. I think maybe 5 or 4 for the first time. This is a step in the right direction. Going towards your constitution, this is the most important policy document that will guide your success as a Women Journalists Association of the Gambia. You are representing a whole fraternity. You should definitely take up this challenge and know that this document should stand the test of time in addressing the challenges of women journalists in the media fraternity. So therefore, you guys are the ambassadors. Whatever you do should be the interest of everyone, not in the personal interest or the interest of few. I urge your indulgence. Take up this responsibility and leadership position as ambassadors of the media fraternity and make sure this document, as I said, stand the test of time. Finally, I wish to congratulate Annette and everyone who is here. I'm super proud of you guys. I'm proud of each and every one of you, especially the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia. Thank you all for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. And we would also like to recognize the Vice President who is sitting right there, Aissatou Keita. Thank you so much for coming. And Fatmata Cisse, Ms. Meta Kasama, and also the winner of the Migration Reporting Award, Jara Cham, who is with us here today. Thank you all so much for being here. So we move on to the next speaker, Mr. Demba Kande from Freedom House. They actually helped us out through, we couldn't have actually stayed this grand launching and also the adoption of the Constitution without Freedom House. Thank you so much, Mr. Kande, and give us a short statement.
Thank you, Barna. The Honorable Minister for Youth and Sports, the U.S. Embassy representative, President of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, President of the Gambia Press Union, my dear Auntie Amiji of Cole, Media Chief, and other veteran journalists here present, invited guests, members of the press, and all other protocols duly and respectfully observed. On behalf of Freedom House and Promoting Rights and Justice team in the Gambia, we are pleased to support this event. Promoting Rights and Justice in the Gambia is fully funded by the American government through USAID. It is jointly implemented by Freedom House and the American Bar Association Rule of Law Initiative. PRJ, as we call it, aims to improve and strengthen the media and civil society to effectively and safely enjoy their civil and political rights. Additionally, PRJ works to support the justice sector of the Gambia, particularly the Ministry of Justice and the Judiciary of the Gambia, to advance democracy, good governance, and the protection of fundamental human rights. Since the inception of the project, we have had collaborative work with the media, civil society, the government of the Gambia, and continue to support initiatives aimed at improving the media, civil society, and justice sector. Talking about the media, since 2017 January, we've seen the number of media houses increase significantly, providing a new outlook to what used to be a barely functional industry. There are about 11 community radios today, up from 7 in 2016. There are over 7 television stations in the Gambia, up from 1 in January 2017. Over 40 commercial radios, up from 30 in 2016. And more than 24 online platforms, which are very popular among the population, especially young people. Now, this expansion in numbers of media outlets also means expansion in the number of journalists and media workers in the industry. Numbers from the Gambia Press Union show that the number of journalists has increased significantly. And since this increase, we now have more women journalists than men in the Gambian media, and we should be happy and proud of this achievement. The Gambia Press Union research on working conditions of journalists shows that more than 50% of journalists and media workers are women. This is significant for so many reasons, and an actual break from the past when we had just fewer journalists, but even fewer women journalists. However, one of the key challenges that remain is the inclusion of women in senior and decision-making positions. The numbers of women in journalism are only at entry-level positions in most newsrooms. In fact, if you look at the numbers, women in leadership positions in the media constitute less than 15%, despite commanding a majority in most newsrooms. We recognize that there are multiple factors causing and contributing to this disparity. However, despite all of these challenges, I am delighted that we are here with you, WoJAG members, holding a conference on the theme, Shattering the Glass Ceiling in the Media, for 2 main reasons. One, we recently saw the conclusion of the 16 days of activism. And upon reflecting, we see that there is a lot of work that has been done, although there is a lot more that needs to be done. Secondly, we are in the month of human rights. December 10th, we celebrated Human Rights Day. And so it's important that every now and then, and every month, and every other time, we try to take stock of what we have done, celebrate the little gains, and work our way around the challenges. This way, we have more reason to continue to work to promote human rights for all. As we proceed with transitional justice reforms and other reforms in the Gambia to build a better society with stronger democratic institutions, we must ensure that there's appropriate representation for all, especially traditionally marginalized groups such as women. Our targets would be to ensure that we leave no one and no one behind. There are proven examples that the empowerment of women boosts productivity and economic growth, prevents violence, and solely advance our society to a newer and better level. Madam Chair, please allow me to speak more directly to members of WoJAG before I end. I'm happy to see you all. I see that you're excited about this new chapter in your organization, and you should be. Running an organization is not an easy task. I'm sure you know that. However, remember that you have to work together. You need to support your leadership. And at the same time, don't hold back when holding them accountable where and when necessary. For that is the only way WoJAG can achieve its mission. So be willing to commit your time and energy, be willing to volunteer, and above all, always stand up for high values and principles. As a media practitioner myself, and as someone who was actively taking part in the work of WoJAG, I understand what this milestone means to you, and I want to assure you that Promoting Rights and Justice program will continue to support you. In conclusion, I would like to thank the U.S. government for providing this much needed support to the Gambia at this critical time in our transition. Promoting Rights and Justice continues to make real-life impact on a regular basis in the Gambia all around. And all of this is thanks to the generous donation of the people of the United States. Similarly, I would like to express our profound gratitude to the Honorable Minister, Honorable Bakari P. Baji. I know we are at the end of the year, and usually this is a very busy time for ministers and other institutions. So you are here because you believe in and want to support these women. Thank you for that. Finally, thank you very much for your kind attention, and I wish you well in your deliberations.
Just call on the representative from the U.S. Embassy to deliver a statement. Susan, please.
Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, Bakari Baji, President of the Gambia Press Union, Mohammed Ba, Madam President, Net Kamara, Madam Juf, Mr. Kanda from the Freedom House, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good morning. As Madam Juf said, a country is judged by its media, and with the passion here today, it is very clear that the future is very good. Even with the challenges that you face and are working on right now. They are still underrepresented in editorial and management roles. So the United States is proud to support Gambians who are working to change these disparities. The USAID Promoting Rights and Justice in the Gambia program is one way that we are doing this. Through this program, we are supporting Gambians in their efforts to strengthen the foundations of a strong democracy, including a robust media sector. Open, independent media plays an essential role in a democracy by ensuring the free flow of ideas and information. A strong media sector provides some of the main channels for transparency and accountability of government to its citizens. And an effective media sector is critical for Gambians to understand issues of importance to the country so that they can be part of that conversation. So this is why the United States is supporting media organizations and journalists. This year, the USAID Promoting Rights and Justice program has conducted a 6-week intensive training for 21 journalists on ethical journalism. The program also trained another 20 journalists on covering the work of the National Assembly. Additionally, the U.S. Embassy recently sponsored a media and communications seminar for women leaders of the Gambia. The United States is glad to support the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia and this event, because the media sector should be representative of the society that it reports on. If women journalists are discriminated against or harassed or kept out of decision-making positions, it is not only unjust, we also lose something extremely important: the diversity of perspectives that women bring to the table. Women in the media here today, I want to thank you for using your talents and your voice. We look forward to hearing more from you as you shatter that glass ceiling. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Susan, for that wonderful remark. And then we're looking forward to more partnership from the U.S. Embassy. We're very glad our sister is right there, Fatimata Cisse. Thank you so much for the support. So finally, now we will have the Minister for Youth and Sports. He will give us a statement and also launch the brand. Honorable Bakari Waibaji, please welcome.
Thank you, Bana. Good morning. Well, I'm going to repeat that. Good morning. Exactly. All right, so just want to say warm good morning to the members of the high table, like we call it. First, to the president of the Gambia Press Union, Mr. Ba, and of course, thank you for all the work that you do. And our auntie here in the army, good morning. The public relations manager of the U.S. Embassy, Ms. Susan, and to the president of the Women Journalists Association, Madam Kamara, and of course our brother here, Mr. Kande from the Freedom House, and our master of ceremony, Banna, good morning. Good morning to all of you, members of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, and other invited guests that are here to witness this very important launch of these, or relaunch of this very important association. Personally, I am glad to be associated with this initiative, which is the relaunching of the Women Journalists Association. Simply because, well, one, yes, as a Minister of Youth and Sports, I, just like our auntie said, and the President said, believe that majority of the young people, or majority of the journalists in this country are young people. But even looking across the room here, we can be convinced to say the majority of the people that are members of this association, and those that have taken time to come and attend this launching are young people. And that makes the Ministry of Youth a critical partner of the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia. And that is the reason why I was personally committed to attend it, but also to, beyond the launching, to continue to work with the association. The second thing is, a few years ago, maybe not a few years ago, but a couple of years ago, I was working with the Child Protection Alliance. That's where I spent most of my professional time, working as program officer. And we spent a whole lot of time working with journalists, but more especially this very association. At the time, it was very active. And they used to do a lot of stories on women issues, on children issues, child protection, violence against children in homes and in schools. And we were able to collaboratively work with that association, or this association, to send out a lot of good messages, but also to bring to the fore the issues that young girls were facing that were considered either domestic violence or were seen to be affecting the development and the growth of our young people. So these are the two reasons why I've decided to come. And I want to assure you all that personally, and also the ministry, we are committed to continue to work with you in the activities that you're going to be doing in the future. Like majority people believe or would say, the more than 50% of the population of this country is women. And for that reason, we also believe that women should take center stage in everything that is happening, including in the work in the media. But that is not the situation in the country. And all of us have a responsibility to work towards changing that dynamic, to ensure that if you have a country that has a population or half of the population is women, that we wouldn't claim that managerial roles, the field should be dominated by women, but we believe there should be a significant representation of women in the media, of women in leadership positions. And I also want to congratulate Madam Kamara and all of you, but now and everyone that's have taken up the initiative to revive the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia, an association that some of us thought is normal. And maybe, yes, it was normal, but we want to say thank you to those of you that have thought of bringing women together so that you can be able to restart the organization and reposition it through the branding that you're doing so that everyone else will understand that just like any other profession, journalism is a noble profession. But we understand the patriarchal nature of our society, where being a woman and working in an industry is so difficult because of the economic situations, because of the social conditions, because of the economic situations that we have. But the passion that some of you have is what's going to be your motivation. That you are not doing it for anyone, you're doing it because you believe it is something that you want to pursue as a career, because you believe you have a responsibility or you have a duty to contribute towards changing the situations of women journalists in this country. And it is doable. What is important is to have the motivation and to have the conviction that if it is not you, it's not going to be somebody else. That it is you that have a responsibility to change it, even if the benefit is not going to be for you, but it will be for those that are coming after you. And I'm sure our auntie here must have had the same conviction many decades ago when she was working at GRTS. And she continued, despite the situations there at the time, and I believe things have gotten better, but I'm sure those times it was more difficult. But they held on and continued to do what they were doing until today that she retired, but continued to be a consultant. Maybe she could have taken another profession, but she held on to it. And I want all of you to see her as a motivation, to see her as the reason why you will also hold on to what you believe. And each one of us have constraints in our work. But once you're passionate, once you're ready to move ahead, you will definitely do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, even though we have very few gentlemen here, I guess, that's one thing we need to change. If we're going to succeed, we should be bringing more men on board. And I'm sure maybe they don't want to, but it's important they do. I want to conclude by reassuring you that as far as we are concerned at the government level, we are ready to continue to open up the space so that there will be more press freedom, so that the environment become more conducive for journalists to continue to practice their work in an environment that is free of intimidation. But of course, that process is ongoing, and the law reforms and all of those things is going to take time, but we believe that it will happen. And of course, it's already happened. And to the members, I want you to pursue further training, further education, because that is what makes us better. If somebody else is doing good today, and 2-3 years down the line, people tap your back and said you've done better, it's because you invested in educating yourself, you invested in training yourself. And that's one thing that I want to trust the executive, under the leadership of Madam Kamara and all of you, that we want to see more professionalism in the job. We want to see more and more women getting the opportunity to train themselves, be it in country or outside the country. And I think if you're able to invest in education, in training, then we'll be able to do more work that is more professional, and work that would not just be limited to the country, but can even be exported outside the Gambia. And that is a task that we're putting on all of you. So on that note, because even on the letter I was told to make a short statement, I would want to stop here by congratulating all of you, and of course thank some of the older faces that we see here. I think I see Auntie Geneva right there at the back, and Mama J also from GRTS on that side. So thank you to all of you for all the work that you do. At this level, I would want, on my behalf, and as an honor given to me, to formally launch the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia. and to wish you success in your deliberations today and in all the other activities that you'll be engaged in. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for those kind remarks and for launching the Women Journalists Association of the Gambia again. And to all of you, I'm very glad to see my very own mentor, Jenaba Nyangjai, Mama Jay, and Hadija all around here. Thank you so much for attending this program. And to all of you members, keep holding us to task, keep pushing us, keep critiquing, tell us what we can improve on and also what we can adjust here and there. And to all of you partners, thank you so much for out of your busy schedule, all of you were able to be here. We understand the business in terms of activities running here and there, but we appreciate you and we will continue to work hand in hand with you people to ensure we push the strength of women journalists in the Gambia. Thank you so much, Annette Kamara, for everything. So the teacups are right there. Let's have breakfast. But when we return, we are going to display the website. The logo you have seen right here is a new one, and a whole lot of stuff that we have rebranded. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. Afterwards, we are having a panel discussion. Oh yes, I am reminded by my boss, we are having a group photo outside and then have the breakfast. Thank you so much. Thank you.